Yo, what's going on everybody? I'm your boy Numbskull here, back again. This time I've got another trip report for you, but instead of one of my own experiences, this is another trip report that a close friend of mine sent me and gave me permission to share. I read it myself and immediately knew that it would make for a solid video, especially for those of you who enjoy the more vivid, immersive side of these substances. This is his experience, exactly as he's written it out. I do hope you all enjoy. Let's get into it. So I'm a 24-year-old guy, about 5'10", roughly 175 pounds, and this happened a couple weekends ago on a day where I had absolutely nothing planned. That felt important going into it. No obligations, no pressure, no reason to rush anything. I tripped on mushrooms a few times before, enough to respect them, but not enough to feel cocky about it. About 1:30 in the afternoon, I ate 3.5 grams of dried psilocybin mushrooms. I didn't lemon tech or grind them up or anything like that, just chewed them slowly and washed them down with water, then laid back in my room with the curtains half open, letting in natural light. For the first half hour or so, nothing really happened, but I could feel that familiar sense of anticipation creeping in, like my body knew what was coming before my mind did. By around 40 minutes in, I noticed a subtle warmth spreading through my chest and stomach, almost like nervous excitement, and my thoughts started to feel looser, less anchored to anything specific. As the hour mark approached, the shift became obvious. The room started to feel different, not in a dramatic way, but like everything had more depth to it. Colors looked richer and more saturated, especially greens and blues, and the edges of objects seemed slightly softer, like the world had been gently smoothed out. I remember standing up to go to the bathroom and feeling taller somehow, like my body was lighter than usual and my movements had a strange fluidity to them. When I looked at myself in the mirror, my face didn't morph or anything extreme, but my expressions felt exaggerated, more emotional, like I could see subtle thoughts flicker across my features in real time. Around 2 hours in, I realized I was fully peaking. The visuals had gone from subtle to unmistakable. The walls were slowly breathing, expanding and contracting in a steady rhythm, and patterns in the carpet began to organize themselves into flowing geometric shapes that would form, dissolve, and then reassemble into something slightly different. When I closed my eyes, I was met with layered visuals that felt almost three-dimensional, like translucent curtains of color folding over each other. There were deep purples, soft greens, and flashes of gold that pulsed in time with my breathing. Time stopped feeling linear at this point. Minutes didn't mean anything anymore, and I had no idea how long I'd been laying there, only that I was very much inside the experience. Mentally, it was intense but calm. Thoughts came in waves instead of chains, and I found myself reflecting on my life without trying to. Relationships, habits, the way I treat myself when no one's watching. It wasn't harsh or judgmental, but it was honest in a way that felt impossible to ignore. At some point, I laughed out loud because I realized how seriously I take things that don't actually matter, and how much mental energy I waste fighting myself. It felt like I was being shown these things rather than thinking them, like the mushrooms were gently pointing things out and letting me decide what to do with the information. Once I felt stable in the peak, I decided to introduce cannabis. I waited intentionally until I knew I was fully there. I packed a bowl and stepped outside, and the moment I took the first couple hits, I could feel the experience shift. Within minutes, the visuals intensified dramatically. The sky looked massive, like it stretched on forever, and the clouds appeared to roll and fold in on themselves in slow, deliberate motion. When I went back inside and laid down, the closed-eye visuals became incredibly vivid, turning from abstract patterns into something more scene-like, almost as if I was watching moving stained glass windows made of light and color. The combination pushed the headspace deeper too. I felt this overwhelming sense of connection, not to anything specific, but to the idea of being alive at all. There was a moment where a wave of emotion hit me out of nowhere, and I felt tears well up without any clear reason. It wasn't sadness and it wasn't joy, just release. Like letting go of tension I didn't realize I'd been carrying. I remember thinking that this was what people mean when they talk about mushrooms being therapeutic. Not because they magically fix anything, but because they let you sit with yourself without resistance. The peak stretched on for what felt like quite a long time, though I later realized it was probably only another hour or two. Eventually, the intensity began to soften, the visuals faded back into gentle movement, and my thoughts slowed into something more grounded. I put on some quiet music and just laid there, feeling incredibly content and at peace. By the 6-hour mark, I was mostly back to baseline, but wrapped in this warm afterglow that made everything feel okay. I ate some food, I drank some water, and I spent the rest of the evening just existing without a need to distract myself. That night, I slept deeper than I had in a very long time, and when I woke up the next morning, I felt refreshed, not just physically, but mentally. There wasn't some grand revelation I could put into words, but there was a quiet sense that something had shifted for the better. It felt like a reminder rather than a lesson, and honestly, that was enough. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the end of his story. Huge thanks to my friend for letting me share that experience with you all. I know it was really short compared to a lot of other ones that I do, but, every single trip report out there, no matter how long or short, is valuable. It's valuable information. These kinds of reports are one of the reasons why I love doing this content, because everyone's experience brings a slightly different perspective to the table. If you enjoyed this one, maybe drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what you thought. Don't forget to turn on post notifications if you don't want to miss what's coming next, as I've got plenty more ideas lined up. With that said, I'm going to go relax, have a smoke, maybe some kratom, and I'll of course see you all in the next one. Peace!